Hola! Today, we're going to learn how to conjugate regular AR verbs in Spanish. Before you get started, there are a couple of things you should remember and one quick activity I'm going to want you to do. The first thing you should remember is that, as we said when we worked with ser during the last unit, conjugating a verb means that we change it slightly so that it means something a little different. You'll see what we mean more by this when we get into actually conjugating some of these AR verbs. Also, you may remember that regular verbs follow a very specific pattern when we conjugate them. So if I tell you that a verb is a regular AR verb, you will always follow these rules to conjugate them. Also, before we move on, what you need to do is take a look at the middle column of your vocabulary sheet. You will see a list of many AR verbs. What you need to do is write down 5 of these verbs, what they mean. These are some of the first verbs you will be conjugating in Spanish. Once you've written down your 5 verbs and written down what they mean, please feel free to continue with your recording and your notes. The first thing, of course, we need to know is how do we conjugate AR verbs? How do we change one of these verbs so that it means something else entirely? What you need to do is follow the steps below. The first thing you do is take off the AR or AR. In Spanish, this is said, quita la AR. Once you've gotten rid of the AR or AR, you need to add the appropriate ending. And you'll notice if you look at the chart below that there is one ending that goes with each subject pronoun. The subject pronouns being yo, tú, él, ella, and usted, nosotros, vosotros, ellas, ellos, ellas, and ustedes. The ending that matches up with a yo conjugation of a verb is o. The ending that matches up with a tú conjugation of a verb is as. The ending that matches up with an él, ella, or usted conjugation of a verb is a. For nosotros, the matching ending is amos. For vosotros, the matching ending is ais with an accent over the a. And for ellos and ustedes, the matching ending is an. Once we have this down, we're going to put it into practice with the verb estudiar. The first thing we're going to do to conjugate this verb is get rid of the AR or quita la AR, so we're left with estudi. In order to change it further, we need to make sure that we add the appropriate endings. When you take these notes, be certain to write down the English translations for each conjugation so that you have a reference as to what everything means. There should be plenty of space in the boxes provided. Let's continue. Yo estudio is I study. Tú estudias is you study. Informal, as if you're talking to a friend. Él estudia is he studies. Ella estudia, she studies. And usted estudia, you study. Formal, talking to someone you don't know very well or in a position of authority. These are all singular conjugations of a verb, which means that they all have to do with only one person. Now we move on to the plural conjugations, which have to do with 2 or more people. Nosotros estudiamos is we study. Vosotros estudiáis is you all study. And remember that this is only used in Spain. You may be expected to use it a lot in the future, but not so much here. Right now it's more for recognition. Ellos estudian is they study. And ustedes estudian is you all study, the one that you are expected to know well. Now what you're going to do is pause the video and take a minute or so to conjugate the verb hablar in Spanish. Hablar means to speak or to talk. Write down the conjugation and the meaning. Once you are set, continue with the video. Now it's time to check your work. For the verb hablar, the first thing we're going to do is quitar la AR. So you're left with hablo. What you should hopefully have on your paper is yo hablo for I speak or I talk. Tú hablas for you speak or you talk. Él, ella, or usted habla for he speaks or he talks. Él habla. She speaks or she talks. Ella habla. Or you speak or you talk, formal, which is usted habla. Nosotros hablamos is we speak or we talk. Vosotros habláis, you all speak or you all talk, only in Spain. And ellos or ustedes hablan, which is they speak or they talk, which is ellos hablan. And you all speak or you all talk, which is ustedes hablan. Once you're all set, you're going to try the verbs usar, which means to use, and llegar, which means to arrive, on your own. Write down the English translation of each conjugation as best as you're able to figure it out. I think you'll do just fine. Once you are all set, call me over and have me check your work so we make sure that you're on the right track before we continue. Muchas gracias.